The State of the Game graphic for July features a jungle setting and an Indiana Jones theme, which seems pretty appropriate given how sweltering conditions have been around here. I'm sure it's much the same for many of you. At any rate, Loki was back, as expected, with the monthly State of the Game update, and there's some interesting stuff. He begins with, "Greetings Terrarians. Things just keep getting hotter outside and inside the development work and community for Terraria. This month's State of the Game is packed with cool tidbits for everyone as we wind through the summer months on the way to the next releases for each platform. All that said, let's dive into the latest and greatest across the board." And they begin with PC news this time, and they write, "We hope everyone is finding some way to stay cool as things really start to heat up outside. The Terraria PC team has remained hard at work on additional fixes, as well as a handful of cool things that are going into the upcoming 1.4.1 release. We still have a good amount of work to do there, but we are definitely making strong progress." And to add proof of that, they shared this rather interesting image, and as a caption of sorts, they wrote, "We know that one thing everyone will be interested to see is the vanity contest armors, right? Well, here's a quick sneak peek at how these have come out so far. You'll have to wait to see further details such as animations, tooltips, how to find these, etc., but we hope that you enjoy what you're seeing so far. We feel like these came out really well and are true to the artist's vision. Coming your way with 1.4.1. And that was pretty much it. In fact, that was it for the PC update in July, but you know, we PC gamers have been rather spoiled. We always get the patch before anyone else, so how can we really complain? Next, the update moved on to soundtrack updates, and many of you probably already know, the Terraria Otherworld soundtrack is now available. They write that it's now available on iTunes, Google Play, etc., and on streaming services such as Spotify, so you can tune into Spotify if you've got that, and apparently you can listen to the Otherworld soundtrack. Loki writes, "We hope that you are continuing to enjoy these epic tunes. If you haven't checked it out on Steam as well, we have upgraded all of the MP3s to 320 kilobits per second, added a lossless high-quality wave branch, and there is an additional epic track from award-winning composer James Hannigan that has been added since it was released." So they shared this image, and if you're curious, if you like the sound of the soundtrack from the spoiler videos for Otherworld during its development, well, have at it. They finish by saying, "For now, we're going to toss the Spotify link above for your listening pleasure, and you can click on the link below in the video description if you want to get to that link. I'll link to the official post if you want to click on it." But they continued, "As for the additional music tracks from Journey's End, we have these more or less ready to go, and we are planning on the same 320 kilobit per second MP3 and high quality wave approach that we have on Otherworld now when this rolls out. Our current plan is to release this soundtrack update alongside the 1.4.1 update." So maybe I spoke a little too soon earlier when I said that was all for the PC version. Evidently the PC update this month promises not just the vanity armors, but also the Journey's End soundtrack update. So that's another thing that they've thrown our way for those of us playing on PC. As usual, they include the hotfix changelog. If you're curious about that, I've been over this many times. Shouldn't be a surprise, but they have a link to report bugs if you find any. And they conclude by saying, "What's next? Well, we are trying to be sure that we tie off all of the loose ends that we want to with 1.4.1, so hang with us a little bit longer as we do just that. After that, well, we shall see." And yeah, we shall see. I'm really curious. 1.4.1 is supposed to be the last really kind of substantive patch for the PC version. It's as they say, it's going to tie all the loose ends together. So is this going to free up the development team for their next big project? I hope so. But who really knows at this point? Anyway, there's the usual information about the Tmod loader. If you're curious, I won't really go over that in this update. I've been over it before, but they do discuss it if you're curious, and click the link, as I said, if you want to read the official State of the Game post for more information on the T-Mod loader. But onto the console versions, beginning with the PS4 and Xbox One editions being developed by Pipeworks. They write, the quality of life update that we mentioned last month has passed internal QA checks and other approval steps. We expect to be able to submit this up to Microsoft and Sony very soon and roll it out to you in the very near future. So if you're on PS4 or Xbox One, hopefully that means something's coming your way in the not too distant future. That's all they write for those editions, so I'm afraid you're going to have to satisfy yourself with that for this month. So if you're curious what all this is about, you could probably click back and pretty easily find my June State of the Game post, which covers the information on all of that quality of life stuff that I just mentioned. But the real update in terms of consoles really is the Nintendo Switch update this month. They shared quite a bit, and I'll just jump right into it. They write, so last month we shared the handful of bug fixes that are coming for Terraria on Nintendo Switch, along with a few news updates on items such as split screen, etc. Well, for July, we have some late-breaking developments to share that we suspect will make folks quite pleased. As we had mentioned for some time, once 1.3.5 was complete and hotfixed, split screen would have another chance to make it across the finish line. Over the last several weeks, the team has made a concerted effort to get split screen working at a level that is playable and fun. A few factors and a lot of hard work and creativity went into this. The short version is that the team needed to find a way to execute on split screen that had acceptable performance levels. The initial attempts here focused around zoom levels, which created a very playable version, but with a zoom level that really didn't feel the best. You could see the Moon Lord's third eye, for example. Over the last week or so, the team has had a few breakthroughs that have allowed the zoom level to come up substantially without causing an overmuch drop in performance versus the previous zoomed-in version. This version is undergoing internal and QA review as we speak, but the team is feeling pretty good that split screen will, at long last, make it into your hands with this next update. Hopefully with the zoomed out version that is being tested now. And they shared this whopper of a screenshot. It's absolutely massive, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed that they get any kind of a frame rate out of the Switch given how much it has to process to get all of this on the screen. But certainly this is very pleasant news indeed. They've talked about split screen for Switch for some time, and I have to say it's really good to see it looking so good. So there you have it. And that's all they had for the Nintendo Switch. I hope that's enough. Now onto the mobile version of Terraria. They begin with, hello everyone, did you spot all of the many spoilers in last month's State of the Game teaser video? There were quite a few indeed. The team has continued to make big strides in both implementation and testing of the metric tons of new content and features, as well as all of the new gameplay systems and UI elements that are needed to execute everything from 1.3.1 all the way through 1.4.0.5. As we will continue to make clear, we still have a lot of work ahead of us in the realm of polish and iterations and testing, but we are feeling great about the state of things right now. That said, let's take a look at the latest and greatest, shall we? And they caution us with the caption, remember that these are early development builds, so UI elements are subject to change and you will very likely see bugs, especially visual bugs or performance things, in any of these early screens or short videos. Don't worry, we will get all of those ironed out before the end. Now the first image is rather colorful, it's quite an exotic build, and it really speaks for itself. The caption for this one was, for certain the 1.4 content steals the show a lot of the time, but we would be remiss not to take a few moments to share how we are currently looking to implement 1.3.x content. And one of the big ticket items on that front is everyone's favorite wiring tool, the Grand Design. Here you can see our current version of this with tappable icons to toggle various functions on and off. The other features, such as ruler settings, wire brightness, and even Torch God's favor, are available as toggles in the inventory screen. So there you have it. And more interestingly, they did share this brief video of the pylon system in action, which is pretty darn impressive. And you wouldn't know without looking at the different control schemes that this was necessarily on a mobile device, which is that's saying a lot given just how much is going on. So very impressive to behold, and it looks every bit as good a game as what you'll find on the PC version. So it's looking quite good, and the team at DR Studios, they're working miracles as always. They wrap up the mobile update by saying, "We know you all want more information on timing, still nothing concrete there, but we hope that you can see that real progress is being made and it is coming together nicely. Final launch timing will again come down to iterations between DR Studios and Relogic on UI design elements," and there are a lot of them, "as well as the massive ton of testing that will be needed on both sides, which is well underway. We hope this little sneak peek has kept you satiated for now. More to come along our own path to Journey's End." So that wasn't a bad update. It looks like, things are moving along quite well. It's a rather polished looking video as far as I can estimate it to be, and that bodes well for the release date. They have said it will be coming out in the not too distant future, so nothing in that video really dissuaded me from that perspective on it. So fingers crossed, right, that we will get this before the year is out. It's been a crazy year. It'd be nice just to have some good news in 2020, so we'll see. Anyway, that's it in terms of the updates. They did post some community updates. I don't really want to cover that. If you're curious though, as with the other things I've mentioned but not covered, you can click on the link in the video description below to the State of the Game post, and you can take your time and go through all of that. And so they've got Discord updates, community shout outs, that sort of thing. So it's all there if you're curious. Anyway, you may have noticed that my background video wasn't very exciting this month. I have been dabbling around in journey mode, which doesn't necessarily involve fighting floating eyeballs or anything like that. I was just testing out the monster-free environment, and it feels so different without monster spawns. I turned them off. I was curious what it was like, and it's very peaceful, I have to say. I'm not sure it's quite as compelling a game, but it was a different experience. I'm going to keep playing around with that. At any rate, that's it for July. I hope everyone stays healthy. I know things are crazy, so keep calm and carry on, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.